and gentlemen, welcome to the 442 podcast. I'm Mr. Mathani, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Tommy Sunday.
That's me.
And the dreamy Tony O.
Morning, boys. I think you need a new line for Tommy. As
Yeah,
always seems
always,
a bit...
yeah, I don't know. Was I here last week?
I don't know. Disingenuous.
In spirit, you were here. But I mean, this is not going to be great for the audio listeners, but I would like to talk about the fact that you have a bindi on your forehead now. Is this cultural appropriation?
You know, I don't know where I was last weekend, so anything could happen, yeah. It's a whole weekend blank, yeah.
What do you mean you don't know where you were last weekend?
Wilderness as in India. Okay.
Who knows, yeah. Who knows, guys, yeah. It's probably too long of a story to explain what happened, yeah.
I mean, it's an international week. We have the time.
We have an hour.
We have an hour, eh? Yeah. I don't know. It's just funny because, like, you know, whenever you're walking by people, you can just tell that everyone's just glued to your forehead and they're just staring at it. It's so obvious.
I would like to set the stage for audio listeners. Tommy has a red dot in the middle of his forehead, and we are all very curious.
Yeah. So the joke's always been like, what kind of story can you come up with that will work with other people to make them laugh? Tony, I'd heard Tony the Voldemort thing. I kind of clash with Voldemort. Tony, just no reaction.
Wrong audience.
Wrong person.
Wrong one. You want me for that.
I should have
one.
known it was there. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I would like to say it looks like you permanently have a sniper trained on your forehead.
Well, I mean, me scratching
mispronounced like one name too many.
Me scratching it is maybe making it permanent, so I'm hoping it's not going to be that way. I could have just said I fell off my bike. Everyone would have believed that, right? That would have been a pretty normal story, no? No.
Fell off your bike.
I will say you falling off a bike, less believable than you getting into a tangle with Voldemort.
I guess, yeah.
So how many nationalities is that now? South Africa, Polish, Canadian, Indian? Yeah, 4. Just the 4 nationalities. Yeah.
Wow. If only I could speak.
Tommy, you're going to have to start watching cricket with me.
I'm actually down for cricket. There's a group of guys who play cricket.
It's just not true. You're not down for cricket.
No. Like, they play it in the Memorial Center, and they're there, like, every day. And I just, like, want to jump and be like, hey, guys, can I, like, just join in? Like, that's what I'm learning to play. It honestly looks really fun. They're having a blast.
I'll teach you.
They're having a blast.
I'll teach you.
Please.
It's a lot of fun.
I think cricket would be a blast to play. Yeah.
Tony, don't shake your head at us. It's international break. We have nothing better to talk about.
Talking about cricket, God, yeah.
Cricket.
I would say it's more. It is more fun to play than to watch. It's one of those sports. I can't watch cricket. Sorry.
Well, I'll bring it in for some T20 cricket. It's much better to watch.
It's just shorter.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all game for learning a new sport and playing it. So I'm definitely interested in it. And
excellent.
Yeah.
We'll set up some coaching sessions for you. I charge by the hour.
Perfect. Yeah. But maybe we should talk about some football. Should we get into it?
Yeah, that's enough. Idle banter.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
It's international. I don't care. I just don't care about international. Until there's a tournament, I don't care.
Sadly,
Pakistan aren't good enough. Canada aren't even playing friendlies. What was there for me to care about?
Is there still a national team?
Yeah, you can't. They have no coach. They don't get paid. Are they?
Oh, right, yeah. I guess the biggest news for Canada is that John Herdman is no longer coach of the Canadian national team. Congrats, Canada. You drove away your best ever coach. He's going to be taking up... You drove him away to Toronto FC.
Yeah, that's...
You know how bad you have to be to drive someone away to Toronto FC? That's not shit.
That's not a good look. When you leave the country to go to a club, it's... Yeah. Who was it that tried that? Was that Real Madrid? Didn't work out well. With...
that's right,
yeah.
It's not...
Who was TFC's coach? Was TFC's coach still Bob Bradley at the time when Herdman came in, or they had someone else?
I think he'd been sacked.
He'd been sacked already? Okay.
They started the season with him, which, explains why they were so shit.
Yeah, that definitely does. Yeah. Have you been going to many games? TFC games?
I went to one.
Okay.
Tell you what, they look good going forward. Bernadeschi and Insigne played well. Bernadeschi scored a couple of nice goals. And then, you looked at them defend. You're like, I understand why you're bottom of the table.
Yeah. I'll be honest, when Herdman was hired, I honestly forgot that Insigne was playing in MLS.
He's been injured most of the time.
That explains things. But when it comes to qualifying, see, I have to care because unfortunately I'm invested in Poland. So I have to watch. I have to spend my Sunday afternoons watching them play.
What's the return on that investment going like?
We used to.
How is the Fernando Santos regime going?
We used to qualify pretty easily. We'd be I would say the last qualifying campaign was the World Cup one that we just had. Poland was top group. Lewandowski was top scorer in qualifying. The last Euros, we qualified first of our group. We had England in our group too, I believe. We still qualified first, I think. But whenever we go to the tournaments, right? That's where we should have bet. We see us play like crap and get no results. Nowadays, we just play like crap and don't get the results either. So all around, and it's torture. And yeah, we hired Fernando Santos. All right. So normally we hire Polish coaches, right? The last so many coaches have been Polish, and then actually this is funny. Little take back here. So before the World Cup, in Qatar, we had hired Paulo Sousa. I don't know if you remember this guy, Paulo Sousa, in our qualifying campaign, and he was terrible. Almost cost us a spot, I think. And then we hired a Polish guy who had no experience coaching. All right, he just knew some people in the federation. Right, gets hired, gets good results mainly because the players. Then we play terrible football, and then we get shown up at the World Cup. Shit. Fast forward now, we hire Fernando Santos. Okay, why are we hiring this guy? What's he proven? Nothing.
Well, I mean, he did win a Euros with Portugal. Yeah. Whether he had any actual say in the Euros that he won, that's another matter.
Exactly.
No, I don't think that's fair. But I don't think that's fair. That Portugal team wasn't great, right? That's
set him
probably
up to defend.
Yeah, that was probably the idea. Yeah,
you just set him up to defend.
Yeah.
Look, he had all that talent at Portugal. Surely he's good.
Yeah.
Ish. Maybe.
So what can he do? What can he do with a team that is not nearly as talented? Turns out he can't do much because we are sitting fourth in our qualifying group, and
fourth out of five.
Fourth out of five, and as I'm told.
Yeah, please remind us who they are behind because
I actually don't know who's in their group. So
okay, so this a group of Faroe Islands, Moldova, Czech Republic, and Albania. You'd think.
Who's top of this group?
You'd think Poland would be top of this group, right? You'd think.
Well, I know that they're not.
We're fourth in that group. Albania is first with 10 points. Albania. Can you name a player?
How many games
Can you name a player? Albania. We played 5 games.
Xhaka. I can name Toulon.
He plays for Switzerland.
Xhaka. No, the brother.
Hishai?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, one player.
Xhaka, Granit's brother. That's who I...
Yeah.
Xhaka.
That's right. Yeah, he did actually...
What a great first name. Granit's brother.
Well, I said Toulon, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
But yeah, sadly, we are sitting in fourth place in that group, which we should be through with ease. And we have 6 points. Automatic.
You are behind Moldova, by the way.
Yeah, automatic qualification. The top 2 get it.
I assume. Yeah. Please tell me you're ahead of Faroe Islands at least.
Yeah, we played them last Thursday, and we needed a late penalty to beat them from Lewandowski just to get past Faroe Islands. So
Jesus
it
Christ.
Is dire. It is dire.
I don't think I can name one player in the history of Moldova. Yeah, I don't think I could. That's unbelievable.
I got nothing.
When have they qualified for a tournament? I don't even remember. So if they have,
when have they won a game?
They won 2 already.
They've won 2.
They beat us.
Maybe
against Poland.
They beat Poland. Wow.
Yeah.
man.
Tommy, what?
So this is what I mean. Like
I'm upset for you.
But this is what happens, right? So we had poor results, and then do you know what Santos does for this game? We were about to play Albania. He calls up Krikoviak. He calls him up. This guy wasn't playing. He calls up Grozicki. The Grozicki is the guy who he can run from forwards, and that's it. He can't shoot. He can't cut. That's all he does.
Has he brought back my favorite Polish player, Pazdan?
You know what? I honestly wish he did. He would have been better than half the guys that we have in there, to be honest. Yeah.
Knowing how much you hate Pazdan, that's impressive.
It's something to say. So we're calling.
This also feels like you really needed to get this off your chest.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I was gonna say
we're calling up.
This is anyone, just therapy for Tommy.
If anyone ever asks club or country for Tommy, it's definitely country.
Yeah.
Like way more. It hurts a lot more.
Oh, it definitely hurts a lot more. But it's like we're calling up this aging. Like we're supposed to be.
But is there a talent pool?
There is. The thing is this, like, if you look at Poland's results in, like, the U18s, U19s, U20s, they actually do pretty good. Like,
but that's a big step up.
I know it's a big step. What I'm saying is, like, there is youth coming through, right? But what Santos is doing is he's just calling up the guys that are, like, 34, that have done it in the past, that are past it, to try and save this qualifying campaign. Unfortunately, you remember, Tony, last year, I think it was I think you guys, Arsenal was playing like Forest. I think like, who was it? Who made that like really stupid shot from 40 yards out when you guys had possession of the ball? Anyways.
Thomas Partey, yes.
You remember that play where he just shoot for 40 yards but he couldn't do anything else? That is what Krikoviak does 10 times a game for possessions. He's just like, he is such a dumb player. That's the honest truth. He kills play. Like, you have a good setup, it gets to him. Why not have a outside the boot shot for 40 yards out? Hey, I might score. And it goes, out for throwing.
I forgot Matty Cash.
Oh yeah,
I forgot Cash plays for Poland now.
I feel sorry for him because he actually plays
Mateusz
well.
Kaszowski.
He plays well.
Cassius. Matthias Cassius.
Yeah. He made a mistake. He should have just fought for a space in England. Who knows? There were the injuries he may have gotten in. But anyways, it looks like, according to news this morning, is that we may be sacking Santos. That's what the talk is. Who do we get? I have no idea. It'd probably be some.
Just
Polish,
give Lewandowski, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in that. Well, I mean, Polish people, I should say, saying that Lewa should just retire from the national team and just go. I honestly, like, it may be the right call. Save yourself some blushes here. You're not going to be doing anything better. He can't. He's not really a good captain. I'll be honest. I mean, he doesn't really. I don't know. He's not really uplifting this side to play better. So I would not be.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, Szymanski, he was supposed to be one to watch. But other than that, I'm looking at the team and I'm just like, who's he lifting? Like.
Oh yeah.
It's tough.
Zielinski the worst part of this, I bet you see the sadness in Tommy. Like, he's got that puppy dog sadness in his eyes right now. I mean, I just feel bad. I want to pile in on Poland, but I just feel bad in a way that I never do with Chelsea.
Yeah, thanks. But the sad part is that I have this faint set of optimism because there's 3 games left, and we're technically only 2 points away from automatic qualifying spot. Yeah. So we have a chance.
I think
that's the worst part. We have a chance.
I think you'll still qualify. Actually, that's not true. I think you have a chance.
Yeah.
I do think you have a chance.
You have a mathematical possibility, for sure.
Exactly. On paper, there is an opportunity there. That's the sad part, that I will have optimism.
You got to beat Czech Republic.
We have to win all 3 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. We should move from this to slightly more uplifting news.
Yes, please.
Hansi Flick has been sacked.
Yeah. That was great, actually. Japan's become a really, really fun team to watch.
The absolutely insane stat for
Oh,
me
it's
is
not-
this is
yeah.
the first time in history that a German manager, a German men's national team manager, has been sacked. Never happened before.
That's
What, did they
wild.
step down?
It's always been end of contract or they step down.
Yeah. That's wild.
Interesting. I guess Lowe had the job for a while, huh? Yeah.
Mm.
And they actually
Lowe stepped down. It was his contract was up. They
his
decided
contract was up.
to part ways.
They-
Before him,
they-
it was Klinsmann, I think, back in like 2006,
That's right. Yeah.
2008, something like that.
See, I just remember lots of calls for them to sack Lowe and Klinsmann. I guess they just
Yeah.
never.
They just never did
got
it.
to that point. Yeah, but Germany have been awful lately, so it's no surprise.
12 wins in 25 games under Hansi Flick. That is,
That's
for Germany,
oh.
just not
That's
acceptable.
rough.
It's crazy stat. Yeah, they look.
What playing Kai Havertz as a false nine does to a man.
You can't-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say
ahead.
Arteta better not play Havertz false nine or he's next.
Nah, Arteta has a good sense to play Nketiah up there when Jesus is out.
Good for him. There you go. He's safe.
Tony's wobbling his head a bit.
He did all right against Man City, but yeah, I saw the game, rerun of the game. Japan just looked way more athletic than Germany, which is something you never really say about their players. But you look at them, there's no real special talent there anymore. In Germany, like, who do you really point out to as like the talisman? You know, they used to have an Özil or a Ballack or Schweinsteiger. Now, I mean, maybe Leroy Sané, but yeah,
Sane's too hot and cold.
yeah. I
You,
really
you look at like all their maybe Musiala in the future.
maybe.
He's only 20 right now.
He's
Like
got
he's
some
the one
more.
guy who I could see possibly developing into that sort of talisman.
Yeah,
But, like, if you look at their
Florian
other guys,
Wirtz as
like-
well. They have some young players. coming
Wirtz is good too,
up. Yeah.
but yeah, it's
I saw
just
Rudiger just give up.
untenable.
I saw
Just
that.
I
give
saw
up.
him on that. Was it the third goal?
Yeah,
I think or the
so.
fourth one.
Just
Just
gave
stood
up.
there,
Yeah,
stood
in
there, and then
disgust.
realized, oh fuck, I should probably run back.
Yeah, I look at Germany. It's like it feels like they still have a talented team with great players. It's not like their talent pool is dried up. So it looks like a lot
Do
of
they
that
have
blame is Flick.
Do they have a team for the modern game? I would say like their midfield is weak or soft. I don't know. Like Emre Can and Gundogan played in midfield for them. I don't think
Emre
that's a
Can
great
starting
midfield.
is not
Yeah, Emre
not
Can.
ideal
Yeah,
at
well,
this point in his career.
did
Like
Ki-
Gundogan's good, but in a double
Yeah.
pivot, it's you need legs these days. And
Oh,
Japan
so-
have legs.
Kimi
What?
doesn't play
Yeah.
in that CDM spot for them.
No, he plays right back,
He
right?
plays right back. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he plays like an inverted fullback for them.
Okay.
Sometimes he plays like midfield, but even then, Kimmich is not going to give you those kind of legs I'm talking about, like athleticism. That's what I meant by Japan just ran through them, right? Like,
What they really need is basically a Ballack or a Schweinsteiger in there.
yeah, someone that can drive the game forward for them. Right now, it's just possession. They lose it, counterattack, goal. Like, that's been the story for years now. They started with Lowe, by the way. And,
The last couple of tournaments under Lowe were like pretty poor. Like he was getting bashed at the Euros after they got knocked out by England.
yeah.
The thing is this: whenever Germany has a sort of lull in their national team, I remember I read a book about this. I think it was like in the early 2000s. They totally revamped their youth systems and how they taught kids, and it kind of led to like the Ozils and that generation, and they obviously won a World Cup. So I wonder if this is kind of like
a lull in the national team before was semifinals, right? Like quarterfinal.
No, it
exit,
was when they got knocked out. It was when they got knocked out, I believe, in the group stage at Euro
group
2000.
stage. Yeah.
I mean, they did make the
That was
final
an
of the
Ozil's
World Cup right
generation,
after.
No, no,
Yeah,
but
that's
No,
what I
he's
mean.
talking about
it
the
like
generation before.
led to them going to their grassroots, just changing things up. So I'm just
Yeah, I
wondering now
remember that.
if this is gonna like maybe lead to a little
But
change in
again,
Germany. Yeah.
like Tony pointed out, that lull was they went out. I don't think they did well in the '98 World Cup, and then they went out in the group stage of the 2000 World Cup. But then they immediately made a World Cup final. Do you think they're going to make the final of the Euros? Because the last Euros they went out second round, and then World Cup I think they went out group stage, didn't they? Because Spain and Japan made it out of their group.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they turned this around and made the finals. I would not be surprised. Just like
This team, okay.
I would. It
don't-
would.
I
It
don't
would
see
shock
the
me.
Germany
It
team
wouldn't
making
shock
I
me.
would be
No.
shocked if they
I'm with Tony on this.
getting
one.
out of the group. Fine, like making a final of anything, no chance. No chance. Like they look slow generally. Like they don't have legs, and you can't get away with that anymore. Like Japan looks like a modern team. They look like a team that's Japan can make a final. I could see Japan making a final, like as a dark horse. Germany, nah, no. It's not like they have an elite striker up front either. Like, you know, you're relying on.
What's Miroslav Klose up to these days? Wheel him back out there.
Yeah, close. Like they don't even have like Thomas Müller. Like, does he even still play for
He
the
doesn't
national
get
team?
he doesn't get called up
No.
anymore now.
Yeah. So who else? Who else is lying around? Yeah, they're relying on Gnabry, who's not. He's not at that level anymore. Sane is decent still, but I don't know. Whenever they're doing anything useful, it tends to, funny enough, be Kai Havertz, who seems to have a bit of a better time for the national team than at club level. And I'm just talking a bit. It's not like he's been good either. So, yeah, I don't see it. But you look at Japan, I mean, they have some exciting players. I mean, Mitoma, they have Kubo. Is his name Kubo? His nickname? I can't remember now. He plays in... I can't remember which team he plays for. But then they have Endo, who we finally got to see, or see properly. He looked all right.
Has he played
Yeah.
for Liverpool yet?
Yes.
He has.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He played one game. But, yeah, he played there last
I think
game.
Kubo plays for Real Sociedad, I believe.
Does he play for Real Sociedad?
I
don't
think
know.
so.
I can check it up now. You are
Yeah,
right.
he plays
Yes,
for Real
he
Sociedad.
plays for
I
Real
mean, he's got off
Sociedad.
to a great start for them as well. In 4 La Liga games, he has 3 goals and 1 assist. So,
Yeah, and then there was this Kamada as well. So like, I don't know. I just think you
Is
need.
Kamada still with Eintracht? 'Cause he
I
was
think
with
so. I
Eintracht
think it was
for a while.
Kamada I was thinking of, not Kubo. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think you need star names these days. I think you need to have the right profile of players. Like Mitoma is a star in his own right. You know, like he's as good as any wing forward these days. They have a good defensive base to build from. So I'm excited to see what they do at the next World Cup.
Yeah.
Like
Like, both their men's and women's teams are just incredibly exciting. I was really hoping
Yeah.
their women's team would go all the way and win the Women's World Cup, but other managers sacked. This was a little while ago, but Roberto Mancini was sacked for Italy. Euros champion Roberto Mancini. But, you know, you miss a World Cup, you struggle in Euros qualifying. It's going to happen.
Who do they
Yeah.
who do they lose to when they had a chance to win it and qualify for that World Cup?
Wasn't it North Macedonia?
Was it
or
North
was
Macedonia?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
North
Yeah.
Macedonia.
Yeah.
And I think they tied-
The,
They tied them again in the playoff, right?
it was in the
was it?
playoffs they lost to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? If just a little roundup of the qualifying, pretty much everyone else is cruising. Besides Italy, who, like you said, tied North Macedonia. Everyone else is pretty much that you expect. The big countries are top of their groups or second.
I mean, it's hard for the big countries to really mess up Euros qualifying because there's so many spots. There's 24 spots.
Yeah, it's expanded, right? You know what's crazy? Can you guess top goal scorer so far in Euro qualifying?
Is it Scotty McTominay?
It's your striker, right? McTominay, 6 goals.
6 goals in 5. Scotland, I will say, one of the more fun things is that Scotland are top of their group, ahead of Spain.
Ahead of Spain, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like Spain, I mean, Spain have only played 3 games. Scotland have played 5, but even then, like, they beat
them,
Spain.
didn't they? Yeah, 2-0 with like
Rodri was
10%
very upset
possession.
afterwards.
Something like that. Yeah, McTominay I think scored twice in that game, at least once.
I think he got one.
He scored at least once. Scotland, in their 5 games, have only conceded 1 goal. They're in a group with Spain and Norway.
Tell you what, United should sign that guy. Yeah, I hear they need midfielders. Yeah, I don't know.
Like France are topping their groups. Netherlands is second. Turkey are ahead. Turkey have played 2 more games than Croatia, but are ahead of Croatia. I mean, Wales will be pretty disappointed, but they're not adjusting to life after Bale very well. We've already gone over Poland. Belgium are topping their group. Wow, Group G has no one of note. It's Hungary, Serbia, Montenegro, Bulgaria, Lithuania. Put them in whatever order you feel like. It's Hungary and Serbia at the top. And then Slovenia,
I
Denmark.
apologize to Mitrovic, but okay. Yeah.
I don't apologize to Mitrovic. he's making bank in Saudi. He doesn't need my apologies. Yeah, it's all very cut and dry. I mean, England are top of their group, did drop points against Ukraine. First points they've dropped.
I'm ready for the post-Southgate era, honestly. Like, it's just, yeah.
I mean, he has to be done after the Euros, right?
The man is still playing Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson.
Either they win the Euros and he goes out on a high, they go to the quarters or semi-finals and he goes out, they're like, this is as far as he can take them, or they crash out early and they're like, alright, it's time for a change.
No.
Like, there's no reason to stay on.
It is clear that he's not planning for the future anymore. He's just like, okay, this is my last hurrah. Just gonna play the people I know and be done with it. Like, yeah.
There's no other reason to play Henderson if that's not the case.
Like, what's he doing there? The man has retired. Like, let him go in peace. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway,
I can't remember if this came out when we had done the pod last week, Tony, but did you see the Henderson interview he gave
Shocking.
to try and justify his move to Saudi Arabia?
Oh my days.
Just such
a bad interview.
Embarrassing interview.
Trying to be like, quiet.
I didn't go. If he'd kept quiet, people would have forgotten. People would have moved on.
It's like
but
trying
to justify, but like, hey, I did plenty for the queer community. I wore the armband and the laces. I'm like, what does wearing the armband and the laces do? It's not doing anything.
The man said,
concrete.
I went to Saudi to make a difference. Like, shut up, man. Like, we know what this is, and it's fine. Just, let it be what it is.
If you want to say, look, they offered me too much money, I couldn't say no. Like, this will take care of, this will keep my family rich for generations. Sure, I still think you've compromised your morals, but I respect that you were honest. Now you're trying to fucking pull this bullshit.
It's like,
fuck off, Jordan Henderson.
I don't know. And then he tried to make it look like, oh, Liverpool didn't want me anymore, blah blah blah. And it's just like, yeah. He fell in a lot of people's estimations after that interview. It's just, the whole thing was a mess. Wouldn't be surprised if that was with Piers Morgan as well. I don't think it was, but yeah. Have we covered Rubiales?
No, we haven't. I was going to move on from one shit show to the next. Finally, Luis Rubiales, president of the Spanish Football Federation, and a man who is not afraid to sexually assault someone live on camera, has finally resigned. Of course, the news was broken by Piers Morgan because, that's where all the dickheads tend to go when they need to break some news. Yeah. And, it shouldn't have taken this long. The fact that he had that much support within Spanish football is alarming. Not surprising, but alarming. I mean, weirdest part of this story was his mum going on a hunger strike at a church, and also interrupting a funeral for a press conference, proving that the apple definitely does not fall far from the dickhead.
And I think as well, he was ignoring his mom. So whole weird dynamic. He was like, yeah, you wanted nothing to do with that. So I don't know what's going on there.
Mom went rogue.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that Spain won the World Cup, and literally no one's talking about that.
Exactly.
It's the saddest part.
It's taken all the shine off that. They finally sacked Jorge Vilda, who the national team have been calling. They've been calling for Jorge Vilda to be sacked for ages now. Like, Spain at the World Cup was not Spain at full strength, because they had, I think, still 10, 12 players refusing to play for the national team.
Yeah. It's weird because I think the idea was he was supposed to continue. Jorge Vilda.
Yeah.
Rubiales was going to keep him in the job. You would have thought that he would step down, because if he had stepped down, Vilda, by all accounts, from what I see, he's not a very good coach. All right, like he's not. The Spanish national team won in spite of him, not in any way.
He has not had a professional coaching job, professional head coach job, other than this.
So the idea, I thought that if anyone's smart would just, quit while you're ahead, while your stock's high, and maybe get another job. But he was looking like he was going to stay. Rubiales is going to keep him in. And then he becomes Rubiales' fall guy, and now Rubiales is gone. It's just, it's a mess. But, I'm glad. I won't say I'm glad. I was going to say I'm glad the right decision was come to at the end of the day, but he still stepped down himself. He wasn't sacked, Rubiales.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just nuts. The whole game, the game as a whole, just needs a real revamp on the relationship, shall I say, or the dynamics between men and women in sport. It's just a mess, which we'll probably come up to later in a different topic. Final bit of news. Nigeria we did have our game, and we won 6-0 against Sao Tome and Principe. So never seen them play.
Big win.
Yep.
Can you pronounce that name?
Are you asking me? I don't even know what country he said.
What countries?
Nice to see you're paying attention.
I
don't know if he's including Nigeria and that, or he thinks I'm talking against two different. Sao Tome and Principe is one country, but okay. Osimhen hat-trick apparently. We have quite a few forwards to choose from now. Look forward to being disappointed by all of them at the next World Cup.
Oh, that was World Cup qualifying?
No, AFCON.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stick Osimhen and Awani up there.
That's a force.
Happen.
That's a force right there.
You have some really good strikers.
Yeah, we're just stacked with strikers. There's no midfield. We have Chukwueze as well in there. Yeah, but we should get Izzy to play for us. Birichi.
It would be a fun time. How many appearances has he made for England? I forget what the threshold is.
I think he's made one.
Nationalities.
He's been called up once or twice, but
he's called up right now.
But I just feel like that's a call up to tie him down. Yeah. It's not a call up to involve him, right? I saw England called up Nketiah, and I'm like, don't do it, man. Like, you'll get one cap, and then you'll be dropped for eternity. But
what is it?
You Danny Ings treatment.
Once you play one 1 minute of one game, that's it, right? Is that how it is?
No, it's not 1 minute of one game.
I think you can play 2 or 3 friendlies.
Yeah,
really, that much? Hey, wow.
But I think it might be one. If it's a competitive game, maybe one.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But I know tomorrow you can't play for Canada because of that, right?
Because I saw that Barnes was considering changing his nationality to Scottish, but I thought he was called up once Barnes and played. But
does he have a cap?
I thought he did, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
England are pretty deep at left wing, so it wouldn't be surprising to me if he didn't have a cap.
That's why they played Jude Bellingham on the weekend. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Stick ball goals on the left wing, right? Just do it all over again.
Some things never change with England.
Yeah. So much wasted talent.
Speaking of wasted talent, let's move on to Manchester United, because, first of all, I wish I had something stronger than tea in this, if we're going to be chatting about this, and I thought I would be getting, nice couple weeks off from football, not really have to focus on it too much. And then the news kept rolling in, and this club, from top to bottom, is a shit show. I don't even know where to start with this team. Where do we start? Do we talk about... we spoke at length, I spoke at length at least, about how they handled the Mason Greenwood stuff.
Yeah.
Of which he has now been loaned out to Getafe in Spain for the year, and the way Getafe have handled this has been disgusting, frankly.
Heroes welcome, basically.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
It's been stomach churning to watch this on social media. There's that, but it starts with United fumbling the ball on that. Or we can talk about the fact that Anthony has 3 different women accusing him of assault. I know Anthony has now stepped away from the team for the time being, which is, I think, the right decision. This one seems a lot less clear-cut than the Greenwood one in terms of what's out there, because it's both sides putting stuff out in the media.
WhatsApp, I woke up this way.
WhatsApp screenshot. I saw this, Anthony's posted WhatsApp screenshots, and I'm like, I don't know what to make of it at this point. I haven't read into any of it in detail. It's just been me reading headlines and being like, I don't have the mental capacity to click on this week, but that's another thing going on. There could be we could talk Jadon Sancho. Sancho, who took a mental health break last year. Ten Hag was apparently not cleared to say that in a press conference, but did anyway. Sancho, who was not in the squad for our game against Arsenal before the international break, Ten Hag mentioned in his post-game presser when asked why Sancho wasn't there that he was dropped because he wasn't performing in training, to which Sancho put out a little notes statement saying, don't believe everything you read. Which, it was said directly, but but yeah, so Sancho's not happy. Ten Hag's not happy with Sancho. What's next on the list? The Glazers sale. I have a full fucking list on the side that I have to read off, because this is the club we are in 2023. The Glazers sale, if you remember, back in November of last year, the Glazers put up Man United for sale. It has been, what are we now, in September? So it's been 10 months, almost. And there has been no sale. We know the 2 groups that are in for it. There's the Qatari group led by Sheikh Jassim, and there's the Ineos group led by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. We've heard no fucking updates on this since before the summer, I think. It kept getting pushed back. It'll be like, okay, this will be done end of January, this will be done end of season. This probably won't happen until the end of the summer, and now there's just no fucking updates. The Glazers are apparently still holding out for £6 billion, which is insane, considering the most recent sports team sale I've seen was the Washington Commanders in the NFL. They went for $6 billion US. They're asking for way more than that.
Chelsea went for what? Was it 3 or 2?
I thought it was 2
in pounds. £2 billion. Okay.
2, yeah.
So they want 3 times.
I know Chelsea were available at a bit of a discount as well because of the Abramovich stuff. But even then, Chelsea were not going to get sold for £6 billion. That was never going to be a thing. So that sale has dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. And I would like to point out that has not stopped the Glazers from taking out dividends. Because why would it? Tied in with the Glazers stuff is just the state of facilities. I mean, Ronaldo, for all of his faults in that Piers Morgan interview he did point out that the facilities are shit at the club. And it's one of the richer clubs in the world, one of the richest clubs in the world, even. There's no reason for facilities to be so outdated. Old Trafford is fucking crumbling. It's not had any upgrades done since, I think, 2005, 2006, something like that. Basically, facilities at the club are shit. Or we could talk about the club inviting a former coach named Jeff Konopka to a women's game last week. So Jeff Konopka, for those unaware, coached the Manchester United ladies team between the late 80s to 2001. The ladies team was discontinued in 2005 once the Glazers took over because they were like, this doesn't make us money. And only started up again in like 2018, I want to say, when everyone's like, hey, we should have a women's football team. But the interesting thing about Jeff Konopka is that he's a convicted paedophile, and the club honoured him at a women's game just before the international break. So, you know, this stuff is public record. He wasn't convicted, like, that day. He was convicted in 2011. Simple fucking Google search of this guy's name will bring it up. Like...
19 offenses.
Is it too late for me to go and get some whiskey or something?
19 offenses he was found guilty of.
Yeah.
And which, to me, then he only got 4 years. I'm like, I don't understand. But, yeah.
That's a whole different matter.
Yeah. Tommy, where do you start?
Have I missed it? First of all, have I missed anything from the list? Is there anything else? Has anything happened in the last 5 minutes?
So the Glazers cut the women's team for 15 years or more because it wasn't a profitable thing. They obviously don't pay any fact checkers or anyone to work in administration double check people that they're hiring or honoring.
The only people they hire are people like Ed Woodward, who worked for J.P. Morgan and helped them buy the club.
Yeah.
Like, these are the people that they hire.
Yeah, they really know how to cut costs. These Glazers, that's the thing, which is a sad part for a team or a club that is so massive that all this is happening. It's wild to me, honestly, that all this is happening.
Brother, it feels like this season has gone on for 5 years for me. We've had 5 years worth, more than, most clubs don't have this level of drama in, we can shit on the pitch too, but, I almost don't even care about that because of all this shit going on.
I will say this too, my opinion of Ten Hag has really gone downhill after this.
Same.
Because, he was ready to put Greenwood back in the squad, let's be honest.
Yep. He would have come back into the squad. Yeah,
how he's handled this Sancho thing, you know what I mean, doesn't really shed him in great light either. I have to believe he knows a bit more about Anthony than all of us do in his personal life. So I feel like he knows his character a bit more. I don't know. Maybe I stretched too much there.
No. What I will say about there is not a single football coach that would not have done the same thing with Greenwood. I'll tell you this now. It's not one. They might tell you this. Well, they won't tell you anything. Fact is, all football managers they stick their head in the sand with this stuff, and they leave the club's PR team or the club's management team to deal with it. What they're really concerned about is your professionalism and your relationship within the club's or team's culture, right? If Ten Hag, my esteem, or Ten Hag's, if he's fallen in my esteem, I guess it would be in perhaps how he's handling the Sancho thing, but I don't know. I just feel like
the Sancho thing is a little bit weird as well because he did give him all that time off last year. He gave him 3 months to just he shouldn't have said it in the press conference. Maybe it was just Maybe he wasn't aware that he couldn't say it. I'm not.
I don't
know about that.
I'll be honest with that particular thing about him not being cleared to talk about Sancho's mental health. I feel like I don't think that's what he intended. I don't think that's how he intended for it to come across.
It could just be something. I mean, he is really speaking in his second language, right?
Yeah, it's very clumsy wording, right? Because he was talking about Sancho's physical well-being and how, you know, the mental side can, when you're sorting out the physical, it can help with the mental and all of that. It was clumsy. He didn't necessarily say Sancho was had gone away to maybe needed a mental health break. But the thing with the problem with Ten Hag is, or not, Ten Hag's not the problem, right? Like there are issues with Ten Hag. I'm a bit unsure about him as a coach. He's not been what I thought he was. But that's, you know, that's a footballing discussion that we could have, I guess. But you have to start from the top.
It's at the top. It's the Glazers. They've set the standards, haven't they?
Yeah, like everyone uses this stick to beat United fans with that. And whenever anything goes wrong, they talk about the Glazers. Meanwhile, the Glazers have invested billions in the squad, and I'm just like, spending money,
fucking nothing.
Well, let's even say he has. Let's say he has invested. He hasn't, but let's say they have.
I refuse to say he has invested because he's fucking not.
Let's say that they have sanctioned. Let's say they've sanctioned billions of dollars in purchase of players, right? It doesn't matter. Spending money for the sake of spending money, as we have seen now, doesn't matter anymore because they're in a league where everyone is rich. Like Chelsea have spent $1 billion in a year. I don't think any of us are sure they will make top 4, like top 6.
Not me. Not
yeah, right. Like it's not about spending millions or billions on players. It's the structure of the club. Arsenal were out there spending £72 million on freaking Nicola Pepe. We just got rid of him for free recently, right? Like
that's some Man United business right there.
Well, we were in that camp for a couple of years after Wenger left, right? Because we had some sharks step in, Raul Sanllehi and the likes, come in and take advantage of us and just start spending money on players without a plan and like, oh, this will keep the fans happy. We'll buy this exciting player. We'll buy Aubameyang. We'll buy Lacazette. We'll buy any name, like status anxiety, right? And structurally, the club was just a mess. The facilities were a mess. The club was a mess. The culture was a mess, right? Like, you know, the only thing they were kind of doing right, and this is the women's national team. Not the women's team, sorry. And that's really just a legacy thing that could have turned sour if the club didn't, you know, get a handle of things. What happened? Basically, after the Cronkies got full ownership of the club, they started to pay more attention, to the actual state of things. Stan sent his son over to basically sit there and be like, hey, these guys are ruining my assets, fix it. You know what I mean? Suddenly, cops are there willing. I'm probably not allowed to say this, but fuck it. Cops were wheeling out Sanllehi, you know, for whatever, probably brown envelopes and the likes. We got rid of agents that were feeding on our players, and we started buying names that are not exciting. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you're not doing there's no shortcut to success.
No,
you need to fix the structure first. Like, it starts with just basic standards, like standard of facility, standard of training, standard of I don't know. United used to stand for something, and now it's just.
I mean, it's been crumbling ever since the Premier League okayed the Glazers purchasing us with a leveraged buyout. The fact that the Glazers did not have to put in much of their own money, they could borrow money to buy the club, while leveraging the club itself as an asset and transferring all the debt on the club. The Glazers got out of this without taking on any debt.
Yep.
it's all on the club, and the club has to make those debt repayments every single time on top of whatever dividends they pay to the Glazers. This is all money coming out of the club that the Glazers have not put in. The fact that they were allowed to do that back in 2005 is what started this, and the only reason it didn't crumble earlier is because that the club was on such a solid foundation at the time.
Yeah.
Between
and
Ferguson
Alex
and like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ferguson covered up so many cracks.
Wenger was doing
and
that
the moment
too. It's just
the moment he left, it started to crumble. And I mean, for anyone out there who says, "Hey, United fans just complain about the Glazers when times are bad," go back and watch us in the late 2000s, early 2010s when we were still winning leagues and stuff. There were still protests going on against the Glazers then. We beat Milan, I remember this very clearly. We beat Milan 4-0 in a Champions League game at Old Trafford. This is when David Beckham came on as a sub for Milan. It was a whole thing. There were protests outside the stadium that day. People threw down a green and gold flag to David Beckham. So if anyone comes at me with United fans only complain about Glazers when times are bad, fuck off.
Do you know how bad you need to be, like your process needs to be for the Jeff Konopka thing to happen? That is mental. Like, that is mental. Like, and it's, it's not a surprise. But that was just a last thing.
I just wake up every morning. I check my phone. Like, what's it today? What's happened today?
Because it started with the Greenwood thing. The Greenwood thing was a very easy. It should have been just
PR slam dunk.
Just it was only going to end one way. Remember, you were worried that he was going to be reinstated. I'm like, it's not possible for him to be reinstated. You can't justify it, right? So,
but that's also the level of trust I have in the people who run this club.
I think they could have made that decision. I just thought the fans would never, no one would have gone to Old Trafford. I'm telling you, fans would not have let fans in the stadium. I know people would want to go, but there's no way. There would have been riots outside. You can't, and they would have lost a lot of sponsors. Adidas were already firing some warning shots that, hey, we are distancing ourselves from this. We don't know what's going on, right? You can't. Anyway, eventually, they handled that so badly that now there's the Anthony case where they probably shouldn't be telling Anthony to step aside based on what's out there. But now they don't know what to do. So they're just like, okay, we're just going to just step aside.
Play it as safe as possible.
And it's like, there's no consistency about the way they handle things, right? And it's just, that's the state of things. Things just keep getting leaked out the club every minute. Before, we were blaming...
Well, that's because of course things are leaking. They haven't updated Old Trafford since 2005. The entire thing is full of leaks.
Okay. Yeah.
I've heard stories of people, when they sit there in the rain, they're getting rained on.
Yeah.
They're under the roof.
Even the Wi-Fi doesn't work, apparently. Was it Paul Pogba said, that his WhatsApp messages were sending late to Jose Mourinho or whatever, or during a game. I don't know, but I just
Why is Pogba sending WhatsApp messages during a game?
No, I think he was on the bench or in the stands, and it looked like he sent a message that looked bad about the team, but because of the time of the post. But reality is he had sent it hours before. It just went through later. Anyway, I don't know. I remember that story for some reason. Random. But yeah, I look at you guys and I'm like, how bad can this get? Yeah. Can they be forced out?
Yeah.
Tommy says wait till tomorrow. What comes out
see
tomorrow.
What the headline is tomorrow. That's what it's been for the last few weeks, is just wake up, see what the headline is today.
As far as your playing squad, the actual players on the pitch, do you have if Anthony's not playing, is it Pelestri now that starts? I hear Amrabat might be injured. It's just
we keep signing. Everyone we sign is apparently hurt. Tell you what, they'll fit into the squad right away. Right away.
They haven't even started carrying United yet. Just the thought of it's giving them back problems. It's yeah.
Fuck you. That's I'm gonna be using that.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts, but hey, I don't know. Win a couple of football matches, the outlook can change, but
things always feel better when you're winning.
Yeah.
And we play Brighton next. I'm sure that'll go well.
And you're still here, and you're still a fan.
Evan Ferguson versus Harry Maguire. Anyone?
Oh, did you see his defending for the Zinchenko goal? The man.
I did see it.
Who was he? Was it Mark Gay? He goes to hug. It's like I don't understand what was going on. Maguire is amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. I'm just hearing people saying it's not Maguire's fault. I'm like, where is he going? He's marking his own teammate.
Wait, is it?
Reminds me of one time a few seasons ago where there was like a sort of like ball pinballing around the box, and he decided to wrestle Luke Shaw.
Yeah, against Tottenham
down
in the 6-0 game.
What is this?
Or when he did the scorpion kick on Paul Pogba. It's just like, yeah.
Will we be blessed with Evans and Maguire at center back this weekend?
I hope so. I don't think so, but I hope, because Martinez.
I don't think
so.
Not
this weekend.
Yeah.
Martinez didn't play for Argentina.
Yeah, but
I think Lindelof will be back at least.
They said they didn't risk Martinez. He might play. I think it's another game. Argentina might have another game.
Yeah, they probably have another one this week, but at least one of Lindelof or Martinez should be back.
They don't play 90 minutes, Tommy, so we might get like 15 minutes of the Evans Maguire access. Yeah.
Oh God! Tell you what, Mitoma running at them. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anything else you want to go over?
What is there more? Is there more?
It probably is. To be fair.
I just want to drink.
Leaked eventually, whatever it is. Yeah.
Tommy just came on my screen, and it's still,
It's still there. I hope so.
This is a week to watch video, guys. This is a week to watch video. I tell you.
Yeah, just to see Tommy.
And his nice looking closet in the background.
Yeah,
thank you.
Lovely. We get to see all your shirts.
Lots of good lighting in this room too.
Yeah. All right, Uzi, have you suffered enough?
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 442. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to keep up with my misery. Apparently, at least Chelsea will be back soon as well.
My misery too. Yeah, from one.
Yeah.
From one.
This is just Tony's pod now. We're just here.
Yeah.
We're just here for Tony to laugh at. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else to say?
No.
Hey,
pleasure to be back in the pod.
Putting a pin in the misery for the week. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, Tommy.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Tony, I hope Arsenal start losing some games. Can't have this dynamic for much longer.
No, one of us has to be happy. So if we're not winning, it doesn't look like it. Tony has to win.
I would rather all of us be miserable than one of us be happy.
There was a period where that happened. I started out being the one that was miserable, to be fair. We were last when this pod started.
I very quickly joined you.
Yeah. And then we were all miserable. And, feels good to be happy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
All right.
End the pod. That's enough. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.